A simple fishbone almost took my life. After finishing the Tuesday meeting, we went back home. CINTIA had prepared my favorite dish, fish. When I started eating, I started choking. I was not aware that it was a fishbone. I said, I will drink some water to see if that goes down well, to avoid headaches. At that time, I felt a terrible, terrible pain. I told CINTIA I feel like vomiting. I went to the bathroom, and there I vomited a little ball of blood. I recall that I left the bathroom and walked towards the bedroom, but then I passed out.
I started screaming, "Marcos, get up, do something." Then I called a pastor and his wife, who were my neighbors, to help me to take him to the A&E. As we managed to lift him, he began vomiting blood clots. He threw up a significant amount, leaving the living room covered in blood. The clots were large. I did not know what was happening. I thought he was expelling an internal organ. We took him to the A&E, and they took him straight to the ICU.
I received a patient in a severe state on my shift. The nursing staff called me. The patient's blood pressure was very low, indicating hypertension. There was a large volume done already. He was bleeding a lot. And I came across the report. And this patient had a linear image that had a transfix on his esophagus and perforated a branch of the theatic aorta.
I didn't know it at the time, but when I drank the water, it worked like an additive, which served the bone to pierce the esophagus and enter the aorta of the heart, the main artery. The aorta is like a balloon. Any sudden movement of it could rupture or damage another organ and immediately lead to death.
The doctor said, "I've never seen a case like this. His death is almost certain." It has been an 18-year journey walking with Jesus, and there I saw that it could be cut off at any moment. However, I had faith that God would act in that situation. Marcos could not do anything as he was lying down in a hospital bed, but I would be his intercessory angel. From the moment she gave the diagnosis, and then they sent it to a board of doctors, and they said that he would need a prosthesis. And they did not have it in our state, in Pará.
And during this period that we waited for the prosthesis here in Belém, the days passed. Every day the doctor would say, "It will arrive tomorrow." It did not arrive. "It will arrive on this day, next week." And my situation was getting worse.
I told him, "As there is no way here, we must go to the place where you will receive help, which is Sao Paulo." But then I had to trust God and use my faith. I took him out of the hospital, where they did not give me any permission to do so. I simply went there and said, "Please, here are his clothes, I am taking him." Needless to say, they disapproved of it. They said I was crazy and shouted at me. But no one can explain my faith and trust in God, because God is just. So we left the hospital and went straight to the airport. Of course, I received all the support of the church here in Pará. The church is like a family, where everyone mobilized for us. In the middle of the flight, he felt sick and could not breathe. He stopped communicating. He lacked the strength to talk, so he could only gesture thumbs up and thumbs down. He felt like vomiting again, but he could not vomit again, as he had lost a lot of blood, and he wanted to lie down on the floor of the aircraft to see if he could stabilize himself. I prayed to God. I placed my hand on his rib and said, "My God, when you performed the surgery in Adam, you made him sleep deeply. So I want Marcos to sleep now. and only wake up in Sao Paulo, and Marcos just passed out. Midway, I checked his breathing. Did he die? And God told me, did you not ask for him to sleep? So he slept, and we arrived in Sao Paulo. When we checked in at the hospital, once again, the church, our family of faith, supported us. This picture shows the medical board, a group of professionals who studied what they would do about him. When we arrived there, they thought about what the best way would be to treat it and then decided on 2 surgeries, one to stop the blood, which was done with the prosthesis, and thinking that he would be 100% fine. So, they brought Marcos from the surgery where they removed the fishbone. However, I noticed apprehension among the doctors. I was actually happy, but then the doctor said to me that when they opened Marcos up, there was a lot of bacteria inside. They had drained everything they could. He said, my dear, when we opened him, there were colonies inside. The bacteria had formed around the fishbone. It had already created colonies within a vital organ, a vital part of the body, which is the heart. It's like a wasp's nest. That was the expression he used. Once you disturb them, they spread. Even though Marcos was in the best hospital, with the best doctors, he would still lose the battle against the bacteria.
That was the moment I thought, well, from here it's death. But that was when we turned to God. We manifested our faith. It wasn't fair. We had given 25 years of our life on the altar. I am a result of sacrifice. And now, out of nowhere, a tragedy.
Here on earth, all resources had been exhausted, so we could only turn to God, to His justice.
I wasn't afraid of dying, but of dying in that situation. It was
Unjust.
unjust. How would God be glorified? Those who go to their graves can't glorify Him.
That day, Marcos woke up looking different. His skin had turned purple, so I knew something was wrong. That was when I had to appeal to the highest authority, the altar. I had to go to God's courtroom. It wasn't even the time for the campaign of Israel yet, but God asked me to make a sacrifice. I knew what that would cost me because I was in another state, and the resources I had were meant to cover my expenses. But I told God, I can't say no to you. I'm going to the altar. I took everything we had, all of our resources. Marcos was lying in that hospital bed, and I placed it all on the altar. I said, here it is, my God. I have nothing left. Marcos is on your altar. My sacrifice, my life is on your altar. I made my sacrifice and my vow at 8 a.m. in the morning. At 11 a.m. in the morning, the bacteria had spread throughout his body. He had bacteremia. It was like a seizure. The machine started beeping, everything started to shut down, his body started shaking. I ran to the hospital bathroom where I had a small bottle of anointing oil. I anointed his feet while he was having the seizure. I looked toward the ICU door and said to God, death is not coming in here because I have made my sacrifice. And miraculously, Marcos began to show improvements. Then, his test results started to normalize. He was discharged from the ICU the very next day. And normally, when bacteria spreads, it causes damage and gets worse, and no one can explain how it spread and then reversed. This was the day he was discharged. When we did this, we won. The righteous judge hit the gavel in our favor. We returned to the altar. It was not a fatality. Then we went to the temple to give thanks. After that, we returned to our beloved state, Pará, and Marcos received a mission.
Yes, at the temple, I spoke to Bishop Renato. He asked me, "So how are you, my friend?" Then he said, "Do you have any lasting effects?" I said, "None, Bishop." He said, "Good. Now go back and evangelize the doctors. Show them it's possible, that there is a way." And with that, we went back and found
Dr. Thais.
Dr. Thais. When I walked in, she looked like she'd seen a ghost.
When I saw him walk through the door for his appointment, I said, "My God, is it really him? I can't believe it." I actually thought he had died. I looked at his wife and asked, "What gave you so much peace? What gave you that kind of certainty?" And she answered so simply, "Faith. Faith in God. Faith that God can make the impossible happen." And I told her, I want to have this faith. I have been learning through the Bible he gave me as a gift, and by attending the services here, I ask God every day to give me that faith.
Well, this is what God does. This was supposed to be my death. It was my death sentence. But it served to glorify God.
Some people wait for post-surgery. I waited for post-sacrifice. What happened can't be explained, not here on earth, but it can be explained in God's courtroom.